as leaked documents from the Supreme Court regarding an overturning of Roe versus Wade seems to have created a storm in our country, there's been a lot of talk on how this will affect the Second Amendment, and what a lot of people are suggesting is that if Roe is overturned, that you lose your Second Amendment rights. Now, before I get into that, and we are going to discuss the legalities and the specifics of that, because I'm going to address specifically what they're talking about and whether it does or does not affect the Second Amendment. I just want to say that there's a population of Americans in this country, a huge population, millions of Americans in this country, who are being deprived of the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The basic fundamental God-given rights. The thing I love about this country is you can enter this country as a penniless man and be a billionaire by the end of the week if you play your cards right. It's a beautiful country for that reason, and that has actually happened to many people throughout the history of this country. It's a beautiful thing. And a lot of times when we talk about, the hardships of, not adopting or not, somebody growing up as an orphan or whatever, at least they have a shot. At least they got the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of a shot. So with that being said, and I share that because I wholeheartedly believe that, I do believe that there's a giant population of Americans that are being deprived of their constitutional rights. In many aspects of the Constitution, but one of which is the one that they bring up that will cancel out your Second Amendment rights. So with that being said, what they're talking about is they're talking about that when Roe v. Wade took place in 1973, the decision was mostly based off of the 14th Amendment, kind of this right to privacy or without due process, essentially saying that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process. So privacy was not really in there. They just kind of grabbed a hold of privacy as a piece that's not necessarily a constitutional thing, but it can be written within, you can see it within this. I mean, privacy obviously is woven within this sentence. But it's based off of this 14th Amendment that gave Roe v. Wade the decision they gave it in 1973. Now, what they're saying that is if you take away this right, because what was within the leaked document is that really privacy is not written within this amendment. That if you don't have, if a right is not written within the Constitution, it's not a constitutional right. So what they're saying is that if they overturn it under those grounds, that you no longer have the right to privacy, which somehow takes away your Second Amendment rights. Now, here's why it does not. It does not because, well, the Second Amendment is written in the Constitution. So, that's... we talk about things that aren't necessarily written within the Constitution. That is clearly written within the Constitution. So, don't let people scare you into thinking that. Don't let people scare you into thinking that. And don't let them scare you into thinking that you're going to lose your right to privacy either, because it is kind of blindly written within the 14th Amendment. It is in there. Without due process. Nobody can come in and spy on you and that kind of thing. Don't let them take that away, because if they overturn it based on the 14th Amendment, my guess and what it should be overturned on is on the basis that there's a population of Americans being deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. Their lives are taken from them before they even have a chance to fight for themselves. So, this is, if it is overturned, I'm curious how, what basis it'll be on, but don't let them think that you're going to lose your second. Don't do that. That's nonsense. That's a fear tactic. It's, don't fall for it. It's not true. And I just want to give you the real deal on Roe versus Wade, and how that will affect or will not affect the Second Amendment. So any thoughts on that, put it in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. If you feel called to support this channel to Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. So don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.